Okay, I'm back. So, after making all of those calls, the very next step was to call the courthouse um, in the specific county that my mom lived in to find out what I needed to do about getting this will solidified and making me the executor of the estate. Called and talked to them, and they said I needed to bring in the death certificate and two witnesses that were not beneficiaries of her will so that they could, legally make me the executor. Unfortunately for me, my mom was a very, well, I don't want to say unfortunately, amazingly enough and unfortunate at the same time. My mom was a very giving, loving woman, and she mentioned almost every single friend she's ever had in her will as beneficiaries to come and, take whatever they wanted from her house. She was an avid antiques collector. She was a beachcomber. She had so much sea glass in her house and seashells. It's crazy. So that was kind of an issue for me as far as finding those two witnesses. Luckily for me, I do also have a lot of really good friends, and I found two of my friends who knew my mom, one of which I've been friends with for 23 years, and the other one for at least 10. So they knew my mom, they loved my mom, and they were willing to come and testify that, that this was my mom's will and this was her signature, and, that I was her daughter, basically. So that appointment was set for about 4 days after I made that call. And so then it was a waiting game. It was a packing and, working around the house, trying to figure out who gets what. And my older brother came in that weekend, so he and I, went through stuff and said, hey, do you want this? Do you want this? And we divided things up relatively easy, actually. I'm so glad that I don't have a lot of siblings and a lot of family around clamoring, going, no, I want that, and fighting over stuff. It was very, very easy. And like I said, this may not apply to you and your situation, but this is just my personal take on it. So then the court appointment happens, and I'm made executor of the estate. And the very next day, I was on the phone from 8:30 in the morning until 4:30 p.m. calling everyone on the list that I had written out. Calling the life insurance company, the Social Security, the two different retirement plans, the banks, the insurance. I was on the phone for quite a long time. One of those calls was actually to Social Security, and it took an hour and 20 minutes to find out that they had already been notified of her death and they were stopping payments for her benefits, which was good in that I didn't have to do anything else, but it really pissed me off because it took them that long to figure out, oh, hey, this is why we're not able to pull up her account, is because she's been marked as deceased. So I got that done. The day after that, I ran around town and I went to her personal bank, closed out that account. They cut me a check for, the amount that was in the account. And then literally right next door was the bank that she had the car payment through. So I took the check over there and closed out the car payment account, paid that off in full, and sent my brother, he had left by this point, sent my brother the rest of the money through his bank, and made arrangements with him to repay the half of his inheritance from her account that did not include the car payment. So basically, I used a portion of his half to help pay off the car payment or the car loan, and then made arrangements with him to repay that half, or that portion, I should say. It's really confusing, but anyway. And so that got all done. What else? Her life insurance policy check came in about 5 to 6 days after. I called them to inform them that she had passed. This particular life insurance company, I don't know if this is going to be the same for everyone, but at least for me it was. All they needed was to see her, I guess, notice of death on the funeral home website, which was crazy to me. Like, why wouldn't you want an actual death certificate? But, you know, hey, they paid out her life insurance for me, so that was great. So that check came in up here to Northern Virginia, where I live. So once that was deposited, I sent my brother's half plus the portion of the car payment to him. Got that all done. I've filled out so much paperwork for her 403B account. I found out that she is not eligible for her retirement account from the original hospital that she worked at, 30 plus years ago. And just, yeah, been filling out a lot of paperwork. So it's still an ongoing process. We are currently May 3rd. She passed on March 14th. So still waiting to hear back about the 403B, still waiting to hear back about Social Security, because I got a notice that we may be eligible for some of her benefits, which would be great, but I'm not expecting anything at this point. And one of the final things that I had to do, I actually got done today, and that was to title and register her car in my name. And I spent 3.5 hours getting that done today, because when I went to the DMV, again, this may not apply to you in your state that you live in, but when I went to my local DMV, I brought her original registration, which had actually expired in February. I brought her death certificate, the executor paperwork that basically says that I am the executor of the estate. I brought the letter from the bank stating that the loan had been paid off. You know, I brought everything that I thought that I could possibly need. And then I'm informed that on DMV records, her name was not the same name that I have ever known her by. She used her first name. She used her first name, and her maiden name is her middle name, and then her last name. I've never, ever in my 35 years, especially not since she was married in, what was that, 1996, I think, used her maiden name as her middle name. Never saw that coming. It kind of hit me, you know, blindsided me. So I had to come all the way back home and get her driver's license, which they were right. That's the name that was on her driver's license. I was dumbfounded. As well as her marriage certificate and divorce decrees. Well, the problem is that the marriage certificate to this particular husband, she used her last married name as her current name for this marriage. So I grabbed everything. I grabbed both marriage certificates, both divorce decrees, her driver's license. I brought it all. I brought everything this time. I thought I was prepared, but apparently I wasn't. And so then I had to go back to the DMV to have them pull her original title. And then I had to wait again in line and wait for my number to be called again so that I could title and register it in my name. And then Bonus Jonas, in the county that I live in, you have to have an emissions test done on your car every 2 years, or they won't allow you to register a car in this particular county. So, although I did get the plates, they're only good for 2 months. So, but once you get that emissions test, you can go back to DMV and get it for 2 years. And I left the DMV, and I was going to come straight home. I had 2 months to do it. I was going to come straight home, and then I said, you know what, I'm off today, to hell with it. And I just went down and got it done, and it took me like 30 minutes. So all in all, I got everything done. The only thing I have to do now is go onto the DMV website and update the registration, pay for that with the emissions test that it passed. It's still a process. It's a long process, and it feels like it's going to take forever. I still have so much to do on our house, so much to pack, so much to give away, so much to, you know, throw out, so much to clean. And if you're in the same situation, or you may be facing the same situation shortly, just know that it takes a while. It does. It takes a long time, but you can do it, and you can get through it. And it's hard. It is hard, but it's going to get easier with each step of the way. It does. It gets a lot easier, and you have to get it done, you know. No amount of preparation can ever help you for these kind of situations, and I am a definite pro at procrastinating. But I'm, you know, I'm there. I got it all done. The only thing I'm waiting for now is to find out if I'm going to get some benefits from her 403B and her Social Security. That's it. Her memorial is on Sunday. I'm excited about that. We're doing an intimate brunch, so like close friends and family brunch at one of her friends' house. And then we're going to a beach to do sort of a proper memorial that was advertised in the paper, so that, you know, everyone can come to that, anyone who wants to celebrate her life. And she wanted it to be a celebration. She did not want, you know, a whole bunch of crying and mourning, so that's what we're going to do. And I bought a whole bunch of bubbles for everyone to blow, because my mom was a notorious bubble blower at work. And yeah, it's gonna be good to see everyone and to kind of heal with everyone. But that is the process that I took for her estate. Luckily for me, my mom didn't own any property. She didn't own a house. So again, some of these things are going to be much more difficult for some of you. She also did not have a $1 million life insurance policy or anything like that. She was very smart with her money. She was very smart about keeping a record of everything, you know, keeping paperwork from, she has my brother's original baptism, and he was born in 79, so, you know, my mom kept everything. And that's the process, is, you know, starting the process, go through the paperwork. That's what I would say. You know, a lot of people would be like, oh, well, you have to start packing and start, you know, dividing wealth and all that. No. The very start of the process is to go through the paperwork and see what you have there and what you might need in the future, because, you know, not everyone has a copy of both of their marriage certificates and divorce decrees, you know. So you may want to think about, if your parents are elderly or sick, you may want to think about asking them, hey, we need to get copies of these certain records so that I can have them for when you do pass. And I'm going to stop babbling now. If you have any questions, any concerns, any comments, please definitely leave them down below. I'm here to help. I'm not an expert in these matters. I'm really not. This is just my personal experience, so take it, you know, with a grain of salt, if you will. But I'm hoping that it will help someone in the future who's going through the same thing to know where to start and how long the process takes. And I will definitely be keeping you guys updated on everything, you know, in the months to come, as far as, you know, her 403B and Social Security and stuff like that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being here. This is a very long video. I sincerely apologize. But thanks for hanging out. And I'm going to be posting another video hopefully next week about what a shit show dating is. So, take care everybody. Thanks for watching.